You know, it's a pretty simple, but I think pretty profound concept. It's something I've just realized over time. Cause like I'll be studying a lot of stuff, but then it always boils down to like biology. But then biology is even just like physics at play. We talk about like let's say like human evolution. We talk about survival of the fittest. What that really is, I mean, what that comes from is the physics of planet Earth that gave rise to life, and then just, I mean, you go further down the line, you go to that's like the fucking formation of a solar system, the galaxy, and then you go all the way back to the Big Bang. What it all comes down to is like this, some like it's like universal evolution, and it's a concept I've talked about before, but like we can talk about the Big Bang or whatever, right? And question what gave life, character. Life meaning like the whole universe character, because otherwise, if it's just some like blank slate, white, pure nothingness, then why did it blow up into all of the diversity that we see? You know what I mean? But what it seems to be is like a play out of whatever gave this universe character. You know what I mean? It's like it seems like maybe from the beginning, there was something that was like programmed into the initial you know so-called mass that blew up into this universe. You know what I mean? That had some. It wasn't perfectly uniform, but it has some flaws in it, you might say, that eventually gave rise to all different colors, diversity, everything. It all seems like it's like a play out of whatever that initial um, programming was, you might say, the initial conditions or whatever that were set, before the Big Bang. It's because if you look at it all, it really does seem to be part of universal evolution, which really is just the play out of that initial set of conditions as far as our hypotheses go. But if you study, like, let's say just biology, survival of the fittest, you boil it down, you get back to like the base level concepts here, first principles, whatever you want to call it. It boils down back to like physics, and then it boils down to that the initial conditions maybe that were set before the Big Bang even occurred. That's what this whole universe seems to be, a play out of that. And like everything we do with our, we can talk about biology, we can talk about survival of the fittest, we can talk about evolution, we can talk about our psychology, our behavioral evolution, our natural tendencies, this and that, how we're programmed, like why we have human behavior, like our habits and everything. It's all, it seems to be a play out of those initial conditions that were set, I guess before the Big Bang, right? It seems like it's part of like a universal process. I said because that's what happens when you boil it down. We can nitpick and talk about little details here and there, but the reality is you get down to like first principles, whatever you want to call it. That's what it comes down to. Like at least just with our current theories, like maybe there's something that gave some character to the otherwise uniform, first matter that blew up into this universe that we now see. And it's all like universal evolution, but like everything is part of that. I know that sounds so like general, and that's why I think people don't like to do that. They don't like to like overgeneralize. People like to talk about details and act like every personal choice matters and this and that. But if you're being real about it, that's what it boils down to. Like everybody thinks they got personality and this and that, but people out here copying each other. We all got like the same fundamental like human survival instinct, reproductive instinct, stuff like that. Human nature in large part. We're very similar behaviorally, I don't know. Everybody likes to get into the details of like whatever they think makes them feel special or whatever, and then they try to like talk about those details and compare and contrast. It's like, sure, whatever. There's little nuances here and there, but generally we can boil it down to like these fundamental principles and see it really is just a play out of whatever initial conditions were set in this universe. It's part of universal evolution. Everything on fucking planet Earth, the whole creation of this galaxy, solar system, planet, and then the fucking life that gave rise, or that this planet gave rise to, it's all just a fucking play out of those initial conditions. It's universal evolution. That's what's going on. This takes me into like, I mean, like, we're just being real. That's what it is. You know what I mean? And you can talk about biology, you can talk about psychology, you can talk about human nature, you can talk about your individual life and the choices you made and this and that. If you really admit to yourself what the fuck you're doing, what you're doing, you know, for, hope that makes sense. You'll see it's just like some biological programming type shit. It's like, it's just in you, it's your nature. You know, you could talk about like every development, even all the inventions that we have and everything, it was like programmed in from the get-go. It's just a natural development. Shit just like life development, you know, this universe evolution progressed the way it has, and life developed here on this planet, and we progressed the way we have, like with everything we've invented, language, everything, like art, even like anything I do, I think I can boil down back to there being those initial conditions that were said that gave rise to this universe. That is really just playing out. It's universal evolution. Everything I do is part of universal evolution. Everything we do is part of universal evolution. So anyway, the real question I would say is, what gave rise to those initial conditions? That's the real question at hand. And I have theories on that, but I don't think I'm going to discuss that right now. I think I'm going to leave it at that. You understand what I'm saying? Every fucking thing that we do, really, at the end of the day, is part of universal evolution. What that is a play out of the initial conditions that were set, like before the Big Bang, like turned a otherwise uniform nothingness into something with diversity, specific, you know, this shit is playing out in a specific way. You know what I mean? It's like a universal destiny, stuff like that. If you're really honest about it, like everybody wants to be all individual and be special and important, right? But it's you're just part of the greater whole, you know? Like life is just a feature of this planet. This planet is just a feature of this galaxy. You know what I'm saying? This galaxy is just a feature of this universe. I'm telling you, if you're real about it, you're being honest, and you're not trying to just make yourself feel special or whatever, it is what it is. It's fucking, it's like a universal organism. It's like one mega functional system, you know what I mean? And I would honestly argue, and it seems to be evolving and like flowering into like its different forms and stuff, but I would argue that there was an initial set of conditions, maybe, that, you know, turn what would otherwise be a uniform blank slate nothingness, you know, with no character, into all the diversity that we see today. So I mean, I think about that. I mean, really, if I'm just being real about it, I can see that. I've thought this shit through a million times. You can talk about fucking psychology, you can talk about biology, you can talk about this, blah, 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 your personal shit, that person, this person, but it doesn't fucking matter. It's all part of this universal play out. The play out of those initial conditions that were set, as far as I could tell. And if you're being real about it, I'm sure that you'll be able to see the same thing. You gotta be humble to admit that. Some people are just so egotistical. They're like, oh yeah, it's all about, look at me, I'm different. Isn't like, really, the more that I've learned, and I approach this because I think I was egotistical. I want to act like I want to be smart. I want to be like fucking smarter than everybody. All it did was humble me. When I started really like seeing what the fuck is going on in this universe and reality, I'm like, shit, like I'm just part of like a bigger whole system. It really was a humbling experience. You know, my egoism maybe drove me to learn, but eventually learning humbled me, and, you know, kind of, I guess, humbled my egoism, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, yeah, if you're real about it, you probably see exactly what I'm talking about. And the real question at the end of the day is, what set those initial conditions? I have theories, like I said. You know, a lot of people have theories. There's a lot of theories about, like, you know, there being like some higher dimensional stuff, like a God mind that you know, that exists. This guy was 2 feet from the fucking dumpster right there. Threw something out the window, couldn't fucking make it to the dumpster. That shit was funny. I don't want to put him on blast on camera. That shit was kind of funny. Literally like 2 feet away from the dumpster right there. Alright, you get a little bit. That shit was funny. Dumpster, where's the dumpster? It's like right there. They just did a U-turn like right around it. Couldn't even. That shit's funny. I'm sorry, that shit's funny. What else we talking about? What was I talking about? Yeah, theories of what set those initial conditions. I don't know. God, mind, high. I mean that it could be us, our own consciousness. You talk about higher dimensional stuff, like, or you talk about higher dimensional stuff like fifth dimensional, God, mind that transcends time and space and everything. It's like maybe what we're doing right now plays some part about, in what happened from the beginning and what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's all like one. Like what is happening now was like meant to happen, but like maybe time and the progression of it all is all connected, and it's like because of what's happening now, what happened back then occurred, but maybe it just looks linear, like it started from there. It could be like I guess what I'm suggesting is that maybe our minds right now consciously thinking about everything we're thinking about, conceptualizing, progression of an entire universe and everything like that. Maybe it plays a part in manifesting it. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. That's a little bit of a theory I got going. So anyway, I don't really know. I don't have all the answers. I admit that. Like I said, I'm a humble specimen at this point. But if I'm being real about it, I can see that I'm just part of a greater whole, like the whole system, this whole universe, everything we do, every personal choice, it's all, you look at like humans' individual choices, and I look how it's just so clearly like aligned with like just the biology that exists on the planet, with the natural tendencies of survival, reproduction. Animals do the same shit, you know what I mean? All your psychology, in large part, a lot of people's psychology is like literally just hinged on that. It's like all you're literally just, you're doing what animals do, except you're like a little bit more conscious of it, and then you might be like a little bit self-conscious of it and modify it a little bit and have a little bit of your neocortex working and changing things up a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're doing the same stuff as animals, reproducing, surviving, eating, thriving, whatever. It's like that's what this is. It's flourishing of life on the planet, and that's just part of the planet. It's a feature of the planet, feature of the galaxy, feature of the universe. Universal evolution, bro. I'm telling you, that's what's going on. The real question is, what set those initial conditions to turn that otherwise blank slate nothingness into this diversified, character-filled universe? That's the question, bro. And like I said, I just gave you a little theory of my fucking fifth dimensional mind, time travel, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But sorry, excuse my language. But I don't know. I don't know, honestly. But that's where I'm at with my thoughts at the moment. So I just figured I'd make a little video about that and give y'all something to think about. So I'm gonna leave it at that. So like I say, talk to you later. Peace out.